It's 7 p.m. Friday.
It's not Friday.
POV.
I'm done.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. We are back with an all-new episode of Some Lyrics and Point of View. We've got a packed show for you today, but first, let's get into it. But we have a special guest today. We have Mr. Willie Montague. Woo, 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 woo.
What's up?
And Miss Danny Adams. Hey, girl. Hey. Junie, we miss you, girl. We'll hold it down for you. Hey, but listen, we'll be diving into the heartbreaking case of 13-year-old Naziah Harris and the conversation that is sparking nationwide. Plus, Martin Luther King Jr. weekend just around the corner, and we want to know, how are you planning to honor the king himself? So stay tuned for Unpopular Opinion, and later, you don't want to miss Girlfriend's Guide. This is POV. This is a trigger warning because this topic is a bit heavy. A Michigan judge has ruled that 42-year-old Jarvis Butts will stand trial for the disappearance and death of 13-year-old Naziah Harris, who vanished on January 9th, 2024. Butts is accused of grooming and abusing Naziah with evidence linking him to her disappearance, including surveillance footage, explicit messages, and disturbing internet searches. Her clothing, found near Detroit's Rogue River, indicated signs of a struggle. Prosecutors allege that Naziah became pregnant. As this case is still sparking a lot of outrage, the public is calling for accountability from Naziah's family, who many have known about the abuse. This is pretty sick. When you read the details of the story and the length of time that it's happened, like, what do y'all feel about that? Yeah, it makes you do that.
Let it out.
It's a
Let it
lot.
out.
This is, I would say, a classic case of the grooming process for human trafficking that happens all over the world, but it actually happens predominantly. We'll see more with the Black and brown community, with our girls and our boys. Yeah. And it's very shocking. My personal opinion, I think it should be castrated. And put under prison because he is disgusting, and she doesn't have a life. She had plenty more years ahead of her. 13. And the fact that her family knew of the abuse, that's when you have to speak up, because it wasn't like they were in the process of the abuse. They could have done something.
Yeah, and it seems that they had understanding that he had harmed other children, like he had gave another 4-year-old chlamydia.
4-year-old.
Chlamydia. He's disgusting.
And he wasn't in prison because of that?
No. And so my thing is, if you're the aunt or you're the grandma, I think whoever the other relative is, if you know about that, then no other children should have been around him at all. We just got to think about keeping our kids safe at the end of the day.
So the aunt, if I remember correctly, the aunt is actually the one who was dating Butts,
Yeah.
right? Okay, just making sure.
And
You can't have no man that bad.
No,
seriously. But we saw it with Precious Mama.
that's real.
No, right. But it is even more sad because Naziah allegedly was adopted, and so just looking into the last names, it gives that her aunt is her adopted aunt. So here she is, vulnerable, looking for love and acceptance. And then you guys probably got her over here babysitting all this lady, other kids, and getting sexually abused at the same time. And it's sad. But even looking at this monster of a man, I believe he was 42.
Yep.
42. He looks like he's 16. That's even worse. He looks like a child.
Yeah. So in I want to bring all sides to the conversation about grooming, like you mentioned, and sexual abuse with minors, right? If you look at the text messages that she was corresponding with Butts, someone who is very ignorant would say that she wanted this relationship. She wanted this to happen.
But Natalia just brought up one of the things that she probably was in foster care or had to come in for some reason. So we actually don't know her background, how early on she was exposed to sex before her mind could even understand her own body. And at 14 or 13, you really don't understand your body. So maybe she is able to, text and sound a little bit more mature, but in her mind, she is not. And at the end of the day, he's the adult and he's responsible.
I agree.
And you hear cases all the time of of kids within the foster and adoptive system where they come from they're over-sexualized, they're overstimulated from sexual things, even within the kids among each other, because you know, I heard of a case of elementary students when they was catching them in the hallways doing stuff because they get exposed to it and their body feels good, but they, like you said, they're not mature enough to realize what's going on. So
And you know, a little bit off topic, but saying, you know, on the same spectrum, that makes me think about how, you know, commonly even, you know, parents, they tend to not understand the seriousness of even doing anything sexual in the bed with even a young baby. And, you know, and I truly believe that even when you have a 1-2-year-old that you just sleep, it's something just about that friction and the energy that happens during sexual interaction that I just feel like it really consumes the spirits of these kids. And that also, even sometimes when the kids aren't touched, you would think, but not realizing that you're also putting this on them in a sense because they're in this space where it's moaning and ooh, and you know, like I hate when people just do that. They think, oh, the baby's sleeping and come no, like I hate when they do that.
Now, I will share a vulnerable story. I wasn't sexually abused. However, I was introduced to pornography at 6 from my biological father. It wasn't like he was like, here, baby, go watch this flick or this porno. It was just left unattended. And at 6 years old, you're like a sponge. You soak up everything, you do everything, and you try to mimic what you see. So I know for me at 6 years old, thankfully, I had a family who was able to put some other guardrails for me, you know, with that. But in the case of this girl, to y'all's point, we don't know what she was exposed to and what led her to be okay with engaging in this type of adult conversation with him. But there's many more kids out there like her.
At the end of the day, it's not her fault. He's an adult and he has harmed multiple children.
Kids. The public is calling for her aunt to face criminal charges. Now, do y'all think she should be held responsible as well?
100%. It's negligence.
Yeah, guilty by association.
Yeah.
She should be. I mean, it's clear that she was aware of it.
Yeah.
And she could have stopped it. It could have been a payoff, because I've seen that too. There's cases where they're getting paid and she's basically prostituting this child, because if it's her adoptive niece, they prostitute these children. And there was a girl, this is a story out, you know, locally, and they were out and it was a school store. They were going and prostituting, and the deal was, you have sex with them and I'll continue to be in your life. This is what the predator said to the girl. And so all of his friends was having sex with the girl, and the family knew because they saw the decline in her grades and her behaviors, and it took them a while for them to even speak up with that.
When I was in graduate school, I used to be a caseworker, so I'm really concerned about the adoptive agency too. Like, was he actually on the home study? Was he supposed to actually be in this house at all? Did anybody vet him? Or did auntie find a new man, move him into the house, didn't vet him at all, and just had him around the kids? Like, I don't have children, but I've always heard women around me that have children, like, you have to really look at the man and his friends before inviting him over, especially when you have young children.
100%.
That's real. This is a heavy topic, and I know that we will watch this story as it continues to unfold. But on a lighter note, let's move on to our next topic. Megan Good recently opened up in an interview sharing that she knew Jonathan Majors was the one through prayer. Now, if you've been keeping up with the headlines, Major made headlines in 2023 after being convicted of misdemeanor assault and harassment involving his ex-girlfriend, Miss Grace. Now, he was sentenced to probation and a domestic violence program. If blocking outside opinions was a person, it would be Mrs. Good. Do y'all agree?
I commend her for that 100%. I feel like at the end of the day, regardless of how we feel about it or whatever views we may have, you know, she is saying that she sought God and God is the one that confirmed it. So who are we to deny what she is saying God confirmed to her? So I just hope that she's hearing from God and this is her divine partner, at least in this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope that she's hearing from God, because she was just with Pastor Franklin. That's his name, correct?
It wasn't no just. It was a minute ago.
A minute as in
Go
a year.
ahead, Willie.
She was just with, so, you know, in that process, that was the same, from what I've read the story, it was the same way. It was this divine encounter. God is not schizophrenic. So therefore, if you hearing them there and now you're hearing them again, The issue may be you need to slow down and stuff, because this was a jump. It went from to pastor because she wanted to be herself. That was part of the issue with her being with Pastor Franklin, because of something that she had on. Everybody was making comments about that, and then she said she just wanted to be herself. They broke up. They had a little story on the beach and whatever, and they separated. And now you're here with Jonathan, and now the Lord done spoke to you, and now you're ready to move forward. But what's going to happen in a year when he might come around and swing his arm at you? Who's going to be speaking to you then? So that's the question.
It's something that, I don't know who Megan Good is as a lover, but it seems like she see herself as a hospital. And I'm like, girl, if you the hospital, be the hospital.
What do you mean by hospital, friend?
She took in a sick, broken man. And I just feel like I'm not putting my career on the line for no man that I barely know that is facing charges, and I'm getting to know him through the courthouse. It's crazy.
But y'all saw the video though. The white woman was chasing him down. She was chasing him down. He was going the opposite way.
Did y'all watch the case? It was more than just that lady. We don't know. We don't know.
And I made a mistake of siding with Rihanna back in the day, not knowing both sides of the story. So I don't know what provoked Jonathan to chase that lady or vice versa.
The lady chased him.
Yeah, that's right. She chased him, but we don't know what happened. However,
She dropped some charges though.
she did. Now, as the only divorcee on this table, I know what it's like to hear from God, to be married to someone, to have kids, and divorce, right? Does that mean that I'm not able to go and say that the next person that I fall in love with, I didn't hear from God and I'm not able to have love?
But when the Lord tell you to go meet him at the courthouse.
Friend, I may not want a big wedding no more. I don't have the big wedding. I may do a backyard wedding. We may get married at the tree.
I agree with that. Sure, he can. I just don't believe people should make that an announcement, because when something comes back wrong, it could be it backfires.
Well, it backfires who? To the people or to God?
No,
you know what?
to the person.
We're going to continue this after this commercial break, because Willie is with the mess on this Friday. This is POV. We'll be right back.
To our viewers that are sticking with us during the break on social media, we have a question for the table and for you guys at home. If you could start a business with your family members, what would it be?
Oh, Jesus.
Or would y'all do it at all?
They tell you don't start business with family. Some family members run it to the ground.
My Lord.
So if I do, it would be housekeeping. That's safe.
I am so done.
I can't stand you. Oh, Molly Maid.
I think I would open an event planning company with my parents. Not the whole family, my parents. My daddy got a little truck. My mom is good at decorating and being organized, and I can go talk to the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, two of my family members are entrepreneurs. My mom sells sea moss and is a fitness coach, and my aunt is a well-known therapist. So I would join both of them part-time.
I know that's right. For me, so my dad's in Jamaica, and I really want to open a store for him, like with ladies things, because he loves the ladies and he can talk them and sell them out of anything. So I know that'd be a good investment. And then here, my mom's background was in case management and therapy and all these type of things. So I'm trying to get her back in the field. So I'm definitely at a place right now currently where I'm trying to invest in something to kind of get her back moving, because she's been babysitting long enough.
okay.
So you guys stay tuned. We'll see you right back on POV in just a few minutes.
Come on in the room. Well, come on. I knew that'd get really swaying. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time of the show where we dive into some real talk, whether it's about love, life, or relationships. Let's get into Girlfriend's Guide. Well, Judge Judy had quite the take on women feeling trapped in relationships they can't leave. According to her, once a woman gives up her financial independence, honey, it's game over. Let's take a look.
Once a woman gives up financial independence to a mate, it's over. You have to be prepared Because if you're not prepared, then you're stuck. And more women have to accept lifestyles that are unpleasant because they are financially stuck. So if you're smart, you teach your daughters, teach your granddaughters. Everybody has to have something that they're good at where they can earn a living. Once.
Shout out to Judge Judy. She been around this thing for a
I
long
love
time.
me some Judge
Okay.
Judy, boy. She'll eat them up.
Okay.
And listen to your elders.
Very much so. Willie over here. What you gonna say? I feel you.
I could say, I can see where she's coming from. I think that's a little bit, on the edge of feminist movement there. But what I would say is, why y'all looking at me like-
Because we all women
But,
looking at you like, what do you mean?
You know I'm gonna say what I gotta say. But I just think it's on the edge because what happens is, I get it, teach your daughters whatever, but you want to teach them independence, but you also want to teach the level where it's like, don't be looking for something to be wrong. Because sometimes when you teach like that, you'll have those people that's be like, oh, he did that. So now I need to just back up and need to do my own thing and I don't need no man. And I think it could be a thin line if you don't teach the balance of it. Like, make sure you have your own, set up what you need to do, but don't expect negative or bad things to come up where you have to do that. Because then you'll live your life in the scope of any moment this person can do something wrong and I got to bounce. So that's where I say it is a little borderline for me.
And ain't nothing wrong with living like that. I think at the end of the day, we've seen, well, at least let me just speak for myself. I've had the experience of growing up and seeing somebody actually be stuck in a situation and not be able to leave. And they're in an abusive situation and their partner that they're with didn't want them to work and they had no money and they could not leave at all. And so I'm going to encourage my daughters, as my grandma has encouraged me, my mama has encouraged me, to have their own. Mama may have, daddy may have,
but God bless the child that has his own.
Yes, Lord.
And that's not gender specific.
I love that, honey. I love that. I want to say that wasn't no Billie Holiday. Who was that? Mahalia, one of them.
That was my daddy Easter speech when he was little.
It's no, but it's a song. But I also I agree. I think with both of you guys, Willie, I do feel like there is a very thin line in between independence and not feeling like you need a man. I'm not a feminist. I also believe that women should have their own and things like that. And I've seen so many people as well in life be trapped in situations and feel like they can't leave. It's not that they can't leave, but they feel like they can't leave. And so I definitely sympathize both ways, but I agree with Judge Judy. You need to have some type of skill, especially in these days, not just for your own independence, but also to be able to help your family in times of need, because the economy is so terrible right now, and so two is for sure better than one. And, a lot of people, even with degrees and all of these other skills are not making what they should be making. And so, you do need those 2, 3, 4, 7 incomes.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're living in an age where a lot of people are seeing celebrities more so sign prenups and coming in with the expectation of one day leaving or one day having to separate and split all the assets. But I do want to bring something to the table, since many of us have been growing up in church at this table, where we are taught, hush Willie, where we are taught that we should have one bank account. If you are married, at least the church that I grew up in, we were taught that you should have one bank account. Y'all should share everything. But nowadays, therapy is telling you otherwise, that you should have many different accounts, one for bills, one for you, one for him. Like it should. I'm just trying to get y'all opinion on it. I'm just trying to play not devil's advocate, because Tally gonna get me. Just bringing a different perspective to the table.
Yeah, at the church I grew up at, they didn't teach on that. They mostly taught on giving and tithes. But but I do remember something to the effect of like having a joint account, and then you have yours. Each person has theirs on each side. But I don't know. I do value therapists and counseling and all of those things. But for me, that's always been like a touchy topic, because I just really feel like it's so important that whoever you're, especially as a believer, that you're seeking counsel from, needs to be led of God. And so sometimes I understand that Some of it is what they're taught, some of it is what they're learned, some of it is strategy. And so it may be financial strategy, but it may not be the answer. You know?
I agree, but I think too, a lot of folks are changing their perspective because money is one of the leading reasons why people are getting a divorce.
That's what they say.
what I'm
People
saying?
get divorced because they don't want to stay married.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'll tell my story. One
But
day.
I believe that there should be a conversation,
Sure.
and that should be between the two of you and make that decision.
Yeah.
And then if that comes to it, but don't just do it just because the sake of someone said it. I
Yeah.
think that you sit down and say, listen, before you say I do.
Yeah.
And say, how
That's
do you
wise.
feel about money? Because that needs to be one of the top. Money, kids, sex, everything needs to be on the table before you say I do.
Ooh, child. Well, there'll be more to this conversation a little bit on. Well, let's move into our last segment of the day, which is unpopular opinion. I have a dream. We are curious to know how you will be celebrating Martin Luther King's Day this year. While most people will be participating in parades inspired by civil rights movements or barbecuing with the family this year, President-elect Donald Trump, his inauguration will be held on Martin Luther King Day. However, this marks the third time in history a president has taken the oath on MLK Day. But not everyone is happy with this scheduling. Willie, I'm going to kick it to you.
Lift every voice.
Ain't no need for that. Don't you say no. You're going to get kicked out.
But I just think that history shows, and because it falls on, Martin Luther King Day falls on the particular Monday, and it does rotate. So this is
Sure.
not the first time. I do feel like people should be able to honor both. I do hope that during the inauguration, because it has now been moved inside, that there is some recognition of Martin Luther King during this time. Now,
Not from people who want to ban DEI. Be
Ooh,
real with
go there,
yourself.
Danny.
Come
Let's
on.
do it.
Now his niece will be part of the conversation. Dr. Alveda King is an advocate and stands for her uncle. And so I believe it. And with the DEI stuff, is not banning DEI. So we can get into that conversation at another time.
So what is it, Will?
What is it? It's simply saying that a person should have the qualifications to be able to work the job. And it should not be by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Now, does your
As Dr. Martin
president-elect
Luther
know
King
that?
Jr.
Right? Does he have the
Does your
qualifications?
president-elect know
No. And it ain't no black Republicans on the cabinet, is
that?
it?
At all. Can we go there?
Where y'all at?
Can we go there?
The
We
men
have
don't
black-
even care about you, but I understand. I understand.
We have black Republicans in Congress. We cannot thin the majority in Congress because we already have a thin majority in the House. And
But
so
he
that's
wanted
why.
the black vote. He campaigned on the backs.
It wouldn't matter if he had every single black person to vote for him. It still would not be enough for him to win.
But his cabinet don't look like America at all, is what I'm trying to say.
But you
All
got
I
some
gotta
people
say
who-
is he better not have Martin Luther King Bible at the end of the day.
He got his
Barack
own
Obama
Bible.
did it. President Barack Obama did it. But I would like
He
for
al-
Trump to leave my
He already
MLK
announced.
Bible alone.
You can be safe.
He
and
got his own
secure.
Bible.
The Lincoln Bible and the Bible his mother gave him.
Oh, his
Mama, now we talking about him.
So now,
Oh, he got a mammy. Okay.
Right, because we never heard about the lady. She's never been mentioned. I can't stand Willie.
so you don't have to worry.
I
Fear
don't know
not.
where he come from.
Jesus. Well, what y'all doing on Monday?
I want to eat a piece of catfish with mustard and a piece of light bread. That's all I want.
No hot sauce on it, just
A
mustard.
little hot sauce, yeah.
No hot sauce. Okay. What you doing, Daly?
I'm gonna send a prayer up for the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I'm gonna tuck myself real in that bed, real cozy. And call it a day.
Will, what you doing?
I don't actually know. I don't know if I want to literally just be tuned into politics. So I'm gonna do something. I might go out, sing a hymn, and grab a little something.
Well, are any of you wearing black on Monday in mourning?
I'm not mourning. The joy of the Lord is my strength.
Oh,
Yeah, the Bible said let the dead bury the
We going
dead.
to America's funeral.
oh, there's a lot happening. Well, I will be in a parade.
Ooh.
Yep, I'll be in a parade.
Which
helping
one?
One of my sisters.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The Orlando parade.
Okay.
Oh, it's
So there's like
Orlando.
4 parades happening this weekend. So
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Eatonville, Orlando.
I used to go to Eatonville. I used to love it, but I just thought it was like dying down.
It has.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the Zora Neale Festival at the end of the month.
Yes.
I used to love it. I got lost there when I was 4.
Oh, Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Lord have mercy. Well, instead of a daily affirmation today, y'all, because of MLK Day happening this Monday, we want you to watch this video really quick.
And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. And so just as I say,
He said he'd been to the mountains.
My God.
We shall over.
We're not gonna sing that, Willie. We not sharing.
Lord. Someday.
It's
Down
a
in
lot
my heart.
happening. It's a lot happening.
Jesus.
But honestly, though, what does that speech do for y'all? Because I know y'all grew up on that. I grew up on that. So what does it mean?
I believe we have to press forward. I asked this question on my ex, formerly Twitter. Do we think the dream, Martin Luther King's dream, has been fulfilled? And most people said no.
Not with these young kids.
Yeah.
I will say this, my people have survived slavery, my people have survived segregation, and I think we'll survive this.
I hope we survive.
Well, we're going to survive. We will see y'all next week on the other side of this mountain. And RIP to, what is it called?
MLK.
No, MLK. Bye, y'all. Not MLK. I was trying to...